welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 12-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into the breakdown, if you guys do enjoy this content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll be here all MLB DFS season long, breaking down these MLB DFS slates to help you guys become better MLB DFS players. Help you guys win some money all throughout the season. So if you do enjoy, if you could just take 1 second, especially that subscribe button, helps me out greatly, guys. Do really enjoy all the support I've been getting so far. Do really appreciate it. And we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. The goal is to get there by the end of the MLB DFS season. If you can help me accomplish that goal, that would be amazing. And if you are interested in some further content from me, I do offer a premium package that's linked below in the description. You get access to all the same tools that I use when building my own DFS lineups. And lastly, don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. So as always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by K rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. And the top guy on the slate today is going to be Mr. Garrett Cole, taking on the Boston Red Sox. 37% K overall, a 15.9 swing strike rate, 33.5% K rate overall against righties, and a 40.7% K rate against lefties. Problem is he's taking on a Boston lineup that is pretty good up and down, of course. And with that being said, there's some other solid pitchers on the slate that have some easier matchups. And also the hitting weather is absolutely ridiculous in Boston today. It looks like it's going to be 90 degrees with 17-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out the center. So, Cole, great option, but there are definitely some things that are making it so that he's possibly not the top option today, because that's really scary hitting weather. And, he's priced up and he doesn't get the best matchup. So Cole, definitely a viable one, but I think that we could maybe go elsewhere. Most notably, Max Scherzer here taking on the Miami Marlins. 34.4% K overall, a 16% swinging strike rate, 37.3% K rate against righties, and a 31.4% K rate against lefties. So it does have a very, very high K rate against right-handed hitting. And he's pitching in Miami, which is one of the best pitching ballparks in the league. That's going to help his case tremendously. Comes in at 11.2 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they're going to price to 10.7. So Garrett Cole priced a little above Scherzer on DraftKings. And then as far as FanDuel is concerned, Scherzer's priced up a little bit more than Cole. I do think that I prefer Scherzer today because of the pitching environment, the weather. Miami's just a way better park to pitch in. And then also a way worse lineup than the Red Sox have, to be quite frank. So definitely like Max Scherzer. I think he's probably going to be my go-to option as far as the top range. Tariq Skubal taking on the Houston Astros is a guy that's really stepped his game up. He still has been giving up a lot of fly balls, a lot of hard contact to right-handed hitting, over 102.2 innings pitch sample size. Has been getting a lot more strikeouts as of late, has looked a lot better, but that's a little scary to me taking on a Houston Astros team today that definitely has a lot of talent up and down the order. Definitely some guys that can hit some left-handed pitching. They do have a 5.59 implied run total. So Skubal's probably not the guy that I'm looking to all that much. You do have Jake Odorizzi in the same game, taking on the Detroit Tigers offense. 26.8% K overall, a 12.2 swinging strike rate, a 25.6% K rate against righties, and a 28.1% K rate against lefties. Does get hit around a little bit as far as the hard contact's concerned, but does have a pretty decent strikeout rate. It looks like there's going to be 16-mile-an-hour winds blowing in from right center. That should help his case as well. And he gets one of the best possible matchups you could, ever ask for, taking on the Detroit Tigers team. So, Jake Odorizzi, I do think, is definitely a viable option today. Tyler Mahle taking on the Atlanta Braves, 26.5% K overall, a 27.3% K rate against righties, and a 25.7% K rate against lefties. Does pitch a little better against those right-handed hitters, and that does line up well with this Atlanta Braves matchup because they do have a pretty right-handed heavy lineup for the most part. Looking at their lineup up and down, you can see they do have Ozzie Albies and Freddie Freeman at the top of the order, Almonte in the middle, but other than that, it's pretty much all right-handed heavy. Of course, it's not the best ideal matchup. He's in Cincinnati, which isn't the best pitcher's ballpark either, but I think that he could be a lone guy that could actually get you quite a few strikeouts here, and the Braves only have a 4.26 implied run total, so it might be a better spot that other people are really banking on in this particular spot. Eduardo Rodriguez taking on the New York Yankees is a spot that I'm not too excited about. The Yankees are just so right-handed heavy, and then I mentioned the hitting weather in Boston is going to be so good today. That's a little bit scary to be going there for me. Zach Wheeler would be the next guy that I'm looking to, taking on the New York Mets. A little bit of a revenge narrative here. The Mets let him go, a 24.6% K rate overall, a 23.6% K rate against righties, and a 25.6% K rate against lefties. Has been very, very good this season, and the Mets have a 3.91 implied run total. It's in Citi Field, which is a great pitching environment in New York, but the problem is it looks like this is another situation where there's wind blowing out. it's going to be a windy day in New York. So 12-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out to left center. It looks like 86 degrees and not the best pitching weather. So Wheeler definitely another really, top option on this slate today. It's just a matter of if he's going to be missing bats, because if he's not missing bats, that could lead to some issues. So, and then once we get past him, we do have Patrick Sandoval taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Not exactly the most talented pitcher in the league. However, he is a left-handed hurler. He does have a 14.2% swinging strike rate, and he's taking on a Tampa Bay Rays team that's been really, really struggling against left-handed pitching all season long. This has been a team that I've been targeting with lefties this entire season. They have a 4.27 implied run total. He's pitching in the Trop, which is one of the best pitching environments in baseball. That's a big upgrade from the Angel Stadium. He comes in at 7.8 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at, let's see, 9.3. So you get a very good discount on him on FanDuel as well. So that's something to note, and I definitely think that he's in a high K upside spot. So I think that Patrick Sandoval is a viable play today, and Brady Singer also a viable play, taking on the Texas Rangers. Ground ball, fly ball stuff is good. A 23.3% kill overall, a 23.6% K rate against righties, and a 23% K rate against lefties. Does definitely have some raw talent. He could just get hit around the yard against some of these more solid lineups, but I think he's in a matchup today where he could go out there and have a pretty good performance taking on this Texas Rangers team. They do have a lot of strikeouts up and down their order. If he's able to just use his stuff, keep the ball on the ground, get some strikeouts here and there, I think that could lead to a pretty good performance for him. So Brady Singer, I think, is interesting. And then once we get past him, to be honest with you, I'm not really looking at anyone else on this slate today. So with that being said, we can go ahead and transition over to bats. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, skill interactive ERA. It's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been so far in his career and how good he's expected to be in the future. And the worst on the slate today is going to be Chichi Gonzalez taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. A guy that's numbers may be worse than they actually are because he pitches in Coors Field all the time, but he just really doesn't strike anyone out. The ground ball, fly ball stuff isn't good. He gives up a bunch of slugging to both sides of the plate. A 476 slugging to righties and a 488 slugging to lefties. So I'm definitely going to have some interest in targeting Chichi anytime he takes the hill. And then when you look at the Milwaukee Brewers implied run total today, they do have a 5.21 implied run total. So expected to definitely put some runs up. Colton Wong, Luis Urias, Christian Yelich, Avisail Garcia, Nomar Narvaez, Willie Adames. All of these guys definitely going to be in play today. And then you got Jackie Bradley Jr. and Keston here at the bottom of the order, who do have quite a bit of pop. And really the only thing you're worried about is them striking out. And Chichi doesn't really strike anyone out. And then you got to factor in that the Colorado Rockies bullpen is also really bad. So I definitely like the Milwaukee Brewers stack today. Johan Oviedo taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Another guy with a low strikeout rate, giving up a bunch of slugging to righties specifically. Has been very bad against right-handed hitting. Lefties, he has been a lot better. But righties, a 438 slugging, 43.5% fly ball rate. Just really bad stuff across the board, to be honest. And the Pittsburgh Pirates are definitely going to be in a good spot today. 86 degrees in St. Louis, 8-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. And it's really going to be the righties we're looking to, as mentioned. Key Brian Hayes in the 2 spot, Kevin Newman. You could definitely toss in the lefties as well. It's not like Oviedo's been tremendously great against them, but the ground ball, fly ball stuff, the hard contact stuff has been a lot better, to be honest. So a little scary going to the lefties, but Pittsburgh going to be a sneaky stack today. Definitely not going to be at the top of the list, but they're going to be viable options. Jordan Lyles taking on the Kansas City Royals. He's been a guy that I'd love to target all season long. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's not good. Hard contact stuff is not good against both sides of the plate. It really doesn't matter who he's facing. And he's taking on a Kansas City Royals team that's on the road in Texas in a great hitting environment. And I definitely think they're going to be a tremendous stack. Whit Merrifield, Carlos Santana, Salvador Perez, Ryan O'Hearn, Kelvin Gutierrez, Jorge Soler, Hunter Dozier, Michael Taylor. A lot of these guys have a lot of pop, and they just can't face a guy that has a huge strikeout rate. And I think Jordan Lyles could be, a good matchup for some of these guys. Lower in the order, Jorge Soler with a bunch of power, Hunter Dozier, that kind of thing. So I like that stack for sure. J-Hap taking on the Cleveland Indians has been a guy we've been targeting all season long as well with right-handed power. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. He gives up a 501 slugging to righties. That's terrible. And, anytime J-Hap's taking the bump, you're going to want to target him with some right-handed power. Lefties, not so much. Cleveland doesn't exactly have the best lineup to capitalize on this, unfortunately. And then Minnesota's bullpen's also really bad. But the righties that they do have are in great spots here. At the top of the order, most notably Cesar Hernandez, Alvin Rosario, Jose Ramirez, Harold Ramirez, Yu Chang, and Rene Rivera at the bottom of the order. These guys are all going to be in great spots taking on J-Hap, so you got to have interest in them. Sandy Alcantara, really not interested in targeting with right-handed bats. Left-handed bats is when it gets a little more interesting, and we do have a very hot left-handed bat in Kyle Schwarber on these Washington Nationals. He's been absolutely ridiculous on an absolute tear of a heater. Josh Bell, Juan Soto. If you want to target those lefties, I wouldn't call you crazy against Alcantara. Definitely not the top of my list, but viable. Marco Gonzalez taking on the Chicago White Sox. This game got pushed back to 4 o'clock, and it's been removed from the DraftKings slate, but it's on the FanDuel slate, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. But looking at the game real quick, there's no implied run total out. It looks like it's in Chicago, and there's 12-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to left center. Marco Gonzalez, not the greatest pitcher overall. You can definitely target him with right-handed power. Tim Anderson, Jose Abreu, Yasmani Grandal, Andrew Vaughn, Luis Garcia, Denny Mendick, all good against left-handed pitching. And then on the Seattle side, Dallas Keuchel's a very good ground ball, fly ball guy that I'm not really looking to target. So that would be my analysis there. Eric Lauer taking on the Colorado Rockies is a guy that I love to target with right-handed power. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's not good. He gives up a bunch of hard contact. And as far as the Colorado Rockies are concerned, they are dealing with some injuries, but it does look like the two guys that I'm really going to be liking the most are expected to be in the lineup. Trevor Story and CJ Cron in the middle of the order. Both those guys just absolutely match left-handed pitching, so I think they're going to be great one-off plays today. And they got Elias Diaz, the catcher spot, at the bottom of the order as well. He does pretty well against lefties. Brendan Rodgers, Joshua Fuentes, Jonathan Daza. If you want to go to that stack, I wouldn't call you crazy whatsoever. So I think they're a decent option to be looking to. Mueller at the top of the list here is a guy that I took off the list because we're only dealing with a 5-inning switch sample size. It doesn't look like he has the best stuff in the world. He's a left-handed hurler. The Atlanta Braves bullpen's been terrible. The Reds have a 5.24 implied run total, so I want to touch on them real quick. Jonathan India, Nick Castellanos, Tyler Stevenson, Eugenio Suarez, Aristides Aquino, Kyle Farmer all hit very well off lefties. And then if they can get him out of the game, of course, guys like Jesse Winker and Joey Votto could have great games as well. So I think the Red stack is definitely going to be a viable one. Wanted to run that one by you guys real quick. And then once we get down past them, we had mentioned Tariq Skubal's issues against right-handed power. Definitely like him. But also Sam Hentges has some issues against right-handed power. 32 innings pitch sample size. He's given up 538 slugging to righties. And he's also been terrible against lefties. So I think the Minnesota squad is in a great spot to really do some damage today as well. Left-handed hurler. Josh Donaldson, Nelson Cruz going to love. Ryan Jeffers going to love. Miguel Sano. Pretty much all up and down this order, you could definitely have some interest in. I think they expect to get him out of this game early, and then you can go to the Cleveland bullpen and target them as well. Tariq Skubal, very simple. Target him with the right-handed power that the Astros have. So going up to their lineup, Jose Altuve, Chas McCormick, Yuli Gurriel, Carlos Correa, Abraham Toro, Miles Straw, Martin Maldonado. Throw those guys in your lineup if you feel good about it. And then if you want to throw in the lefties to be contrarian, the Detroit Tigers bullpen is not good at all, so that's definitely a viable option. Jorge Lopez is a guy that we skipped over somehow. I didn't mean to because the Toronto Blue Jays are definitely in a tremendous spot here. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. The 441 slugging given up to righties, a 545 slugging given up to lefties. Just not going to get the job done, especially when you're dealing with a lineup as talented as the Toronto Blue Jays. It's 82 degrees. Looks like there's going to be 21-mile-an-hour winds blowing in Buffalo from right to left at this field, it looks like. So nothing too crazy as far as bumping bats. But the Blue Jays have a 6.74 implied run total. That's absurd. That is an extremely high run total. Of course, they're going to be a viable stack. I'm sure they're going to be popular, but for good reason. And taking on Jorge Lopez, you got to like these guys up and down. I don't even have to go through the list. The entire lineup is in play, guys. Of course, the top of the lineup is preferred. If there's one guy I wouldn't play in this lineup, it's in the 9th spot with Reese McGuire at the catcher spot because he just really hasn't been hitting well. He's literally the only one, and if I have a catcher spot to fill on DraftKings, I have no issues with playing him either. So I'm going to like that stack today. And then, yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking on this slate today. The last thing that I would mention is in that same exact game with Ross Stripling. He's not exactly the most talented pitcher in the league. He has a 49 slugging given up to righties, and most notably, he is a reverse splits pitcher, so the right-handed bats I'm really going to like. So guys like Trey Mancini, Maikel Franco could really be great plays, and I have no issues with you stacking up the Orioles overall as well. Then you got Ryan Mountcastle in the 4th spot, so I like those righties on Baltimore. And with that being said, before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. My home run call of the day today is going to be Josh Donaldson taking on Sam Hentges. I mentioned his hard contact issues against righties, most notably a 538 slug, going up with a 408 WOBA. And then when breaking down his stuff, very reliant on the fastball-curveball combination. Goes to that fastball about 47% of the time. Right around 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and Josh Donaldson crushes that pitch. A 375 ISO with a 358 WOBA. And then the curveball, he'll go to about 31% of the time, and Donaldson crushes as well. A 273 ISO with a 322 WOBA. I think this is a great spot that Josh Donaldson profiles very well in. get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Josh Donaldson, get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. That would be greatly appreciated. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.